All right, 2022 college football schedule previews. I'm doing a whole series of these videos. There's a playlist on the channel called 2022 Schedule Previews. Click on that playlist, and it'll bring up the entire list of all the teams I've done so far. I'm going to do as many as I can throughout the month of April. I'm getting these teams from over on the Patreon page. So if you're a member of the Patreon page, make sure you go over there, find the post about the schedule previews, and then just leave me a comment over there about which team it is you want to see me do a schedule preview for. I'll add it to the list, and I will get it done. But up today, the Bicycle College, BYU, where the average age of the incoming freshman is 22 years old because they have to do one of them African missionary trips before they're allowed to enroll or whatever the case. Of course, they have a whole bunch of weird rituals and stuff like that going out there. But that's not the purpose of this video. We're just taking a look at the schedule here. How difficult is it? Of course, BYU is not in a conference, so they're free to schedule whoever they choose, and they schedule as many tough games as they can. I mean, they don't run and hide from tough competition. I mean, they do try to schedule some bigger name teams. How'd they do last year? Well, they were 10-3. And they lost to the three best teams they played. They lost to Boise State, Baylor, and UAB. UAB was pretty good last year. Lost to UAB in the bowl game. In the regular season, they lost to Boise State and Baylor. Boise State, always a pretty good group of five team. Baylor, of course, went on to play in the Big 12 title game. But they had several Power 5 wins, BYU did. They beat Arizona. Now, Arizona's terrible. But they beat Utah. They beat the Pac-12 champions, Utah, early in the year last year. They beat Arizona State. They beat Washington State. They beat Virginia. And they beat Southern Cal. So, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 6 Power 5 wins. Oh, that's more than Florida had. It's more than Tennessee had. It's more than South Carolina had. There's a lot of Power 5 teams that didn't beat 6 Power 5 teams last year, but BYU did. Bicycle College. What will they do in 2022? How many Power 5 teams are on this schedule? Well, they play Baylor again. They play Oregon. They play Notre Dame. They play Arkansas. And they play Stanford. So about half the schedule, Power 5. They start things out on the road in Tampa against South Florida. And this ain't the South Florida from 4, 5, 6 years ago that was winning 8, 9, 10 games a year. And they've been terrible the last couple of years. BYU probably be favored in that game. And they host Baylor. Now, this will be a big game. They lost to Baylor last year, but Baylor was a good team last year. They're expected to be pretty good again this year. They might be an underdog in that one. At Oregon, brand new head coach there, Dan Lanning, defensive coordinator from Georgia, up in the Northwest now. BYU travels to Eugene, Oregon to take on the Ducks. That could be a good game. And they play Wyoming at home. BYU be a favorite in that one. Utah State. Utah State was pretty good last year, too. I think they finished the season ranked. Utah State also plays Alabama this year. Is that a rivalry game? Do you have to be a Mormon to go to Utah State? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just now noticing, too, where's the Holy War? There's no Holy War this year? BYU versus Utah, the Holy War? They don't play this year. Instead, play Utah State. Then they play Notre Dame. Now, surely the Catholics are not going to get humiliated by the Mormons. Is that possible? And why are they playing in Las Vegas? Why are a bunch of Catholics and Mormons going to Las Vegas? Arkansas. Arkansas has been a good story the last few years in the SEC. Sam Pittman really turned that program around. Arkansas was going 2-10 for what seemed like forever. Sam Pittman gets there and right away made them a respectable program. BYU's got a chance to get some big wins. Arkansas would be a big win. Notre Dame would be a big win. Oregon would be a big win. Baylor would be a big win. How many of those can they win? Here's another my Bible is better than yours game. At Liberty. At Liberty. Pastor Hugh Freeze versus BYU. BYU, you're allowed to have a bunch of wives. Hugh Freeze religion, you're allowed to associate with prostitutes. So this is an interesting matchup here. East Carolina at home for BYU. Ought to be able to win that one. On the road at Boise State. Boise State not as good last few years as they were there for a while either, huh? Then they get their bye week. Bye week comes real late in the year, seems like. You don't usually see a bye week this late, November 12th. They play 10 games before they get it. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10 games before they get a bye week. What in the hell is Dixie State? And why? What in the world? The Dixie State Trailblazers. Who in the hell is that? I have to look that up. Hold on a second. Where is Dixie State Trailblazers? Dixie State, what? That's in St. George, Utah? Why is Dixie State in Utah? Shouldn't it be in Mississippi? Anyway, and then you finish things up on the road at Stanford, who last year had one of the worst years anyone can remember. David Shaw, I don't know what's happened there. Stanford used to be a pretty good team out in the Pac-12. They've been struggling lately. Ever since they went away from, I used to call Stanford an SEC team on the West Coast. Because, I mean, had big lines of scrimmage, good running backs, ground and pound, game-managing QBs, throwing the ball 15 times a game. You watch any Stanford games last year and the year before? There's some kind of airing it out thing. It's not working. Whatever the changes they've made there, it's not working at Stanford. David Shaw, some of the shine has wore off of him, in my opinion, last couple of years. I used to be real high on David Shaw. Not so much anymore. There you have it. 2022 Bicycle College football schedule. How many wins are on there? They could lose to Baylor and Oregon. They could lose to Notre Dame. They could lose to Arkansas. They're going to win at least 8 games, though, aren't they? I don't see them. I don't see them losing more than 4 games. 5 if the wheels fall off. But at a minimum, looks like 7 or 8 win team and could win 10 again, depending on a bowl matchup. Anyway, I'll start my prediction videos in June. These are just schedule previews. I'm do a whole bunch of them during the month of April. And then in June, I do prediction videos. I'll put these schedules back up on the screen. I'll go through them again game by game and tell you whether they're going to win or lose. And I do that for a whole bunch of teams during June and July, 50, 60 teams. Give you my official predictions. I just like to take an early look at some of these schedules. Start to figure out what a team might be able to do. Anyway, let me know down below what you think about BYU, the Bicycle College.